Welcome to the JoContractor Show, a podcast created by three regular Joes. The JoContractor Show is a place where trade professionals, business owners, and homeowners looking for solid advice and amusement can hear stories of great success and great failure in the turbulent and unpredictable world of construction. On the JoContractor Show, we dig deep into the realm of remodeling and construction. We chat with construction trade professionals, business owners, and homeowners alike. We support local independent contractors and those who put their trust in the hands of these capable and hardworking business owners and tradespeople. We discuss construction and home maintenance from multiple angles, and we do it with compassion, purpose, and humor. Listen as Lori, Merrick, and Sam, along with a wide variety of guests, explore topics related to construction, home ownership, small business creation, and more. A quick reminder, don't forget to send your questions to questions@JoContractorshow.com. And after you've done that, please take a moment to hit the like button, subscribe, or talk about us tomorrow morning at the local coffee shop. We appreciate feedback and critique, and it lets us know that you're out there and that you care.
Hey everyone, it's Sam Devine with the JoContractor Show. I have a special announcement for you today. We're launching a weekly newsletter. If you would like to sign up for some tips and tricks that we send out every week and a little overview of what happened on the show last week, head over to JoContractorshow.com or JoContractor.com and sign up for the newsletter now. Thanks and enjoy the show. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the JoContractor Show. Hi, you two.
Hey.
Sam, Merrick, hi.
Yeah. Lori, how are you today?
I'm great. It's nice out.
Finally.
Classic, starting off with the weather. You can't help it, you know? I mean, it's we went through winter, and now we're finally getting a decent spring, and it feels great.
The sun feels fabulous.
Yep. Oh, and speaking of that, good segue. We're here to talk about, this is our Construction Quickies segment, or one of them, and we're here to talk about different things within construction that, like a single topic, and today we are going to do landscaping and kind of that area.
'Tis the season.
'Tis the season. So these are our summer things. We'll, maybe later on this year, we'll do a series on what you kind of have to look for in the fall when it's time to get ready to shut your house up for the winter,
That'd be good.
Good. All right. So landscaping, I'm not going to lie. I don't know a ton about it.
I know a little bit.
Yeah, you seem to have. I have some knowledge, but let's jump into it.
Yeah, I think that everybody's all excited about gardening, right? Maybe not raking.
Maybe. I mean, you're weird if you are.
Fine.
No, but mainly, I think what we want to talk about is how landscaping is integrated into your house and your buildings and how they affect each other, not necessarily what plants to plant, right?
Yeah, for sure. We're here to talk about the specifics of how does this affect your home?
Right.
Yeah.
I think that people don't realize how much it really does affect your home, because when I have a water intrusion issue, I might call my landscaper to come and grade everything out and regrade it, bring a bunch of dirt, maybe some drain tile.
Okay, so let's say I'm a homeowner.
Yep.
And I don't even really understand what you're talking about when it comes to grading.
Oh, true.
What is grading, and why is it so important?
So if you have water in your basement, and a lot of people do, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have some, or maybe a lot. Maybe it rains and you get a lot. But if you go out, I always tell people, stand outside when it's raining, maybe have an umbrella, and see where the water's pooling up. And it's probably the same spot in the basement, right?
Right.
And then you go back outside and see why. Why is it, what's going on out there? Are your gutters plugged? Or is your downspout not on? Is it connected to the...
And we already did one of these on gutters. Yep.
Yeah.
So if you need to know about what why gutters, why are they important and all of that. And you don't always need gutters. A lot of people don't have gutters.
Right.
But the grading is specifically what?
And the grading is it wasn't your gutters. Your gutters are fine, or you don't have, well, you might need them. But the grading is when you look at your house at foundation and you see that the dirt and the water is sloping and pitched right toward your foundation. So the water runs into the basement. And there's path of least resistance.
That's
so grading is when you say, I've got 12 inches of concrete showing on my house so that I can see, and then the siding starts. And I can add another 6 inches of dirt and make a little hill away from your house.
Yep.
Yeah.
So if you've ever, driven in the mountains and stuff, they'll have the sign with the little truck, and it's going downhill, and it's at a 6% grade or a 10% grade, and that's telling you how steep the road is ahead of you, right? Yep. So the grading is you can have negative grading actually, where the dirt around your house is lower close to your house and higher out further from your house, like 6 feet out into the yard. And that means everything that lands in that space is graded. The grading of the ground makes it roll right back into your house and into your foundation.
I tell friends or family, or actually clients, whoever, they'll listen, if when they're buying a house, to make sure you look for that. Might be a dry winter, a dry spring or summer, and that basement doesn't show it. But walk around the exterior and see where the ground or the side, or then we can move to sidewalk, or what the sidewalk is doing next to your house.
Yep. Yeah, and I think the important part there is, so landscaping, I think generally people think, what trees and what plants and how can I make this all pretty? But landscapers can help you with the grading too. You can put down weed barriers or even moisture barriers to help, and then build it up so you've got somewhere for that water to go that isn't right back on your foundation.
Mm-hmm. And thinking about if you're going to go and landscape your areas around your house, make sure the grade is done first, because otherwise you might plant a bunch of things there and then have a hard time doing it.
Right.
Yeah.
And a lot of times, like I mentioned, the drain tile, and a client from maybe, 10 years ago sent me a note, said, hey, we're going to put in a fence. Do you know what you guys did the drain tile? Do you know how deep or, where it's at about? Just so I kind of have an idea. And I of course, don't remember any of that. But typically, when you install drain tile, it's underneath the roof of the house where the water is going to run off. So that's where you would dig your drain tile, and it can be from, approximately 6 to 12 inches down. So that's,
so that's like so
if
I've
you
only,
can't get to your foundation.
Yeah, I've only put drain tile, and the chance that I had to do this, I actually put drain tile both inside and outside of the foundation.
That's a good point.
Yeah, but that's
an expensive one inside.
Yeah, but this was in new construction.
Oh, sure.
Right? So you've got the one opportunity to do it. Why not do it?
Do it,
Yeah. But you can add drain tile more at the surface level to get rid of some of that surface water too. And is that where you put in sort of a French drain? Is that what that's called?
You could do a French drain, or you can drain it. And ideally, you're not draining it to the neighbors. Or
they deserve it. I'm just kidding. I love my neighbors.
But you drain it someplace, maybe to a garden or someplace on your own property, because you're not supposed to drain it into the city sewage either.
Right.
That'd be runoff. So either that, or we have done a lot of French drains, and they work great. So a French drain is basically one big hole or multiple holes. We've done it different ways, and they go deep, and you fill it with sand or rocks or things like that. So the water, it's a path of least resistance. So then when it rains, the water just collects in there, and then it'll slowly drain back into the earth, and then it'll fill up again and drain back down.
Yeah, so it's like a little well kind of in your yard that drains slowly, but it's softer than the rest of it's more permeable than the rest of your yard, so the water pools
and
there.
That is a really good option. All these options are better or cheaper than if you're trying to get an interior drain tile into an existing basement.
Oh, that's a big pain.
And it's
a lot
mess.
of work. Yeah.
But people do it, and it is an option, I guess.
Yeah, if you've got persistent water problems, but then you've got sump pumps and you've got water pumping back out into the yard, and that thing will go, it'll stop for a few minutes, and then it'll pump that water out, and then it comes right back in the house. Anyway, so that's more of the utility side of landscaping, or one of the parts of the utility side.
Yeah, I think retaining walls would be another similar thing where you're keeping dirt. You're building up these retaining walls to hold the dirt back. Like my house is on a on a huge hill. And I was looking at it right before coming over here because I was out in the yard because it's nice finally.
Yeah.
And you can just see how the dirt's just washing down the hill. And it would just be so nice to have a retaining wall there so I could have some flower beds.
And now anyone can just go throw some rocks in there and call it a retaining wall, right?
I don't think you need a license or anything for that.
No,
you might
really.
not, but I think what my little joke there was that retaining walls done poorly can be a real mess because you're trying to hold back that sort of natural downhill movement of earth. Mm-hmm. And when they don't do them well, they start to bow right away and they kind of crumble and collapse.
Because you do need a hole, depending on how high they are. You're on a hill, so you'll need some way to get the water pressure released as well.
Right.
Yeah, and people forget that sometimes.
Yeah, so retaining walls are another one. And then sidewalks. We all have sidewalks. That's part of a landscaper's thing often. Though you might hire a concrete company to put the sidewalk in, but it's often the landscapers that are suggesting it or working directly with the concrete people.
And that leads to all the concrete walks right beside your house that, is great for shoes and mud, but a lot of times they're only 4 inches deep of concrete. So that means in Minnesota they move. So it's a floating slab that moves around and a lot of time will tip toward your house. And it will contribute to the water in your basement. So I usually say get rid of it, put some stepping stones in, or caulk it a lot. It's a maintenance issue.
Yeah, and my experience with concrete and in those situations has been you get what you pay for. If you can get really good concrete and have it done really well where it persists, but yeah, your average kind of, hey, I poured you a little sidewalk here, that stuff's cracking and usually tipping back toward the house and causing trouble.
Right. So. And then should you plant close to your house?
I don't necessarily know the answer to that, but I think I have a guess. I'd say no, not very much.
Right, that's true. You don't, especially trees.
Yeah, right.
It'll wreck your foundation as it grows. And the other thing is those plants need water. So you're watering them next to your house. I have my own story of my cabin up north with the moldy basement wall with a sprinkler system that waters those plants that are next to the house.
Right.
Right. So, ideally they're far enough away and getting rain and that you don't have to sprinkle them or spray your foundation. So you really don't want to plant real close to your foundation, anything.
What constitutes close?
Your roof line.
Yeah.
Look up to your roof and see where the water falls.
So outside of that roof line.
Outside of that.
Yeah. So ideally, 2 to 4 feet.
Yeah.
Would be.
Yeah. It's not. I mean, it doesn't even sound pretty, but it is. You can. You can.
Oh, you can put
some
nice stuff in there.
Add some rock, even. Which is what you would. A good thing to do too.
Yep.
Some stone or rock or.
And then there's the pretty side of landscaping where, you can get an outdoor fire pit and stadium seating and whatever else you want. For if you've got a couple $100,000, you can have a really nice space and put a gazebo in and
a kitchen
and yeah. And for those matters, I would say reach out to reputable. This is where we again would recommend finding a good landscaping firm.
I think at least to get your overview plan and your hardscape taken care of. But as far as planting the plants and doing the mulch and putting in, maybe some pavers for a walkway, a lot of that stuff a homeowner could.
Yeah, get out there, get dirty.
Yeah, have fun.
But
it is fun.
But I would even hire somebody probably to do kind of a plan ahead of time, so that
it doesn't have to be an unreasonable cost. There are lots of smaller landscaping companies. I've got a couple of friends who just started one up here in South Minneapolis, and I'll give them a little shout out because theirs is Blissful Bee is the name of their thing, and they just started up, and they're all about pollinator friendly
surprise
landscapes. Yeah, right. Blissful Bee. Yeah. And I think the bee might be high. I'm not sure. I'm just kidding, but it just sounded like it should be. No, but they are, we talked about this. They will give you, they would like to start with plans. They don't necessarily want to do your work. They just want to help you figure out how to make your yard. So you can find places like that out there that will, for a very reasonable cost, get you the professional advice you need, and then you go buy all the stuff and you do it yourself and you save a ton of money.
Absolutely. Yeah, definitely fun and getting your hands dirty, and there's a lot you can do, even your drain tile.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, it's
or French drain.
You got all your digging, you just go out there and start digging.
Yeah. And you mentioned hardscapes, Mary, because that's another thing to consider when you are building your design or putting in your landscaping. You can have a patio or a permeable patio versus all hardscape, which is water runoff, and you're not getting water into your yard or into the Mother Earth, I guess.
I haven't.
Permeable pavers are pretty cool. If you haven't looked into them, you should.
Yeah, I haven't seen much use of it here in Minnesota yet, but I've been watching this. It's recycled plastic formed into a grid that you then fill with dirt, and it grows in between, but it's hard still. Yeah. So you can drive on it and walk on it and everything else.
We've done a couple of driveways. Well, my neighbor has one, and it's all with those concrete, with the holes, the concrete pad things, those 12 by 12s with holes in them. Yeah. And they park on it, and they've done it for years, so it's withstood the cars and shoveling or whatever. So that one is just a simple one, right? And then we did one for a garage where we built a new garage, a pole barn garage, and then we repurposed the concrete of the old garage and made remember the old tire tracks, concrete tire tracks? That's back.
Yeah, good.
So the concrete tire paths that lead right into your garage, and so the rest of it's not a full concrete pad. So we made a path into the garage just for the tires, and then and repurposed that concrete with it.
Yeah, well, I mean, that allows the rain to find a natural path into the ground and back into the earth.
Right,
which
and
is
not
good.
just run into the sewer systems.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right, well, I think we I don't know. We did something. Yeah. You should have learned a little something about landscaping, I hope.
Even one thing is good, right?
That's right. And I think we can close it out.
Yeah.
And if you only learned one thing, you only had to listen for 15 minutes anyway.
Yeah.
Right. It's not our usual. Don't worry. We'll assault you with hour-long shows again here with guests soon enough. But thanks for listening, everyone.
Right. Good luck.
Thank you so much for listening to another amazing episode of the most important show out there. Before we go, we want to thank you again for supporting us and for all the lovely things you say about us on social media. Shows like this grow with help from people like you. And remember, keep sending us your questions. We really appreciate the stories and the great insights we gain from our audience. We also want to remind you that you can buy shirts, hats, and more at JoContractorshow.com. Be good to each other, and we'll catch you on the next show.